Hello, good evening. I'm Oral Gibbes, and welcome to Speaking of Everything. With me this evening, I have a very interesting guest for the first time on Speaking of Everything. She's none other than Miss Sorton. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Well, it's good to have you in the program
Thank you
because
for having me.
you're an occupational therapist.
Yes.
What's that all about? I don't know.
Okay. Well, occupational therapy is concerned with independence. So, in a very small nutshell, what it caters to, it's anybody from little babies that are just born to people that are dying. My job is to problem solve and come up with a way to have them function again. If you've suffered from any disease, any illness, or any injury, I have to come up with ways, either through therapy or the introduction of equipment or adaptations in your home, to bring you back to as close to independence as you were before the condition.
I tell you, I'm very honored to have you because over the years, we've seen people come from all over, work as occupational therapists on St. Martin, and it's good to know we have one of our own.
Yes, yes.
So how did you decide to become an occupational therapist?
Well, what happened was, it was actually an error on the school's part, because I started out to be something else, and then when I got to the school, they said, no, we don't have that, we have occupational therapy. And I said, okay, sure, why not? It's the same healthcare field that I was going in. And then once I started to take some of the subjects, I saw that I really did enjoy all the prerequisites. I enjoyed everything about it, and I said, this is definitely what I wanted to do. Yeah.
And you studied in America or Europe?
I studied for the basis in States, and then I did my master's in occupational therapy in London, England.
Was it a big difference?
Yes. Yes, it's very big, both countries, yeah.
I know in terms of the culture and everything, quite a huge difference.
In terms of culture and as well as education.
Yeah.
Yeah, London is definitely more stricter,
Yes.
and they expect a lot more.
You got a lot more freedom in America, right?
Yes, they do, yes.
So you're back how long now on the
I've been back since 2012, so 3 years now, practicing occupational therapy.
And what is it like? Because for the average person, they're not aware of it unless they probably have a problem, got in an accident, can't use an arm or leg. Tell us a little bit more about the work as an occupational therapist.
Okay, sure. Well, what I deal with, it's as I said, it's very big range. So I can deal with kids. So if you had a child with autism or ADHD or having problems in school, I do school visits, I do home visits, I do work visits, and that's for everybody. I can come out and see how the environment is impacting on your condition. Maybe you need a lower desk or higher chair, for example. Maybe the child is too stimulated in the class with too many posters on the wall. Maybe they need a certain approach from the teacher or the assistant with the child, for example. And I come and I observe and I give advice. Or we can start in the clinic and I can do different practices and different exercises with the child, attention-wise or behavioral-wise, to get them to be able to function in the classroom. And if you're an adult, for example, if you've had a stroke or an accident or anything, and your hands, because what I deal with the upper limbs, whereas the physical therapist deals with the lower limbs.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I sort of overlap with them. Just the upper limbs I deal with. And so I can do hand therapy, and that can be anything from the shoulder straight down. So exercises, sensory re-education, everything with the hands to get them back to functioning. If it means that you used to be a plumber or you used to be a chef, my goal is then to try and hopefully get you back to work or get you back to being able to mop your house or to take care of your kids at home. Whatever you want to do, that's the baseline of occupational therapy. I work for you. What do you want to do? Yeah.
And the name of your clinic is what?
It's Enable Holistic Occupational Therapy.
Okay. Go ahead.
And it's located in Kobe, right across from the Harley Davidson.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's in the shopping center, right?
It's in
there.
Orange Grove Shopping
Orange Grove.
Center, yes.
You told me about schools. Now, for example, have you been working with the schools so far?
Well, I've reached out to a few schools. I hope that more will reach out to me because I've been going and observing and as well having schools and parents come to me and ask for assistance. And they've been seeing a change. You know, small little things can build up into bigger things. So we start small in the clinic and then they see a change of the school year and how the grades are improving, for example, how the handwriting is improving. Because I also work with handwriting with the kids and getting them to be able to function, to be able to independently complete their work at a reasonable pace and to get through with the subjects and get on to the next grade.
How's it been in terms of acceptance on the island in your profession?
That's a very good question because there's been some resistance. People don't understand. They don't know what it is. So until they've been in the clinic and I've actually spent a whole session sitting down and explaining to them what my goal for them while working together and getting to the bottom of their condition is, only then do they realize this is what we need or this is very valuable to the island. Because you hear occupational therapy, you automatically think, oh, getting back to work. When the term occupation, yes, means work or profession, but in my case, it means anything that you do. So it could be riding your bike, driving your car, combing your hair, or actually working, going to school, whatever it is, going to church, for example. Whatever you do, that's my job, to get you to do that again. So until I explain, then people don't really understand.
And you said earlier too, a while ago, that there's a distinction between a physical therapist and occupational therapist.
Well, and particularly with me as well, I'm stressed more on the holistic part of it too, because what I do is I don't just focus on the physical. So for example, if you had a stroke, I do hand therapy. That's strictly physical. But what I also extend into is the cognitive side. So how your brain is functioning, how are you thinking, how are you processing everything. To as well, your emotional side to a certain degree, because then I would always recommend you go and see, psychologists, psychiatrists, etc. So I look at the whole person. That's really where I differentiate from the other therapists, because I go a little into the psychological, psychosocial, I do a little bit in the cognitive, and I do a little bit in the physical. So it's really a very broad, general, and not just strictly physical, for example.
Because the mind is also very important.
Yes, very important, because without it, you can't move your hand. You need to have the whole body functioning to be able to function, even just to lift the pencil. So,
can you recall your first patient?
Wow, my first patient. That's very hard because I did my first patient on St. Martin or abroad.
Let's make it easy. Let's say St. Martin.
That is actually quite difficult. I actually remember my first patient abroad.
Or you could tell us about that one then.
But that one was in England, and it was funny because they couldn't understand my accent.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, we speak very fast. And I was speaking very fast in my assessment to the patient. And I asked if they had fallen over recently. And he just couldn't understand what I was saying. He's like, fall, I don't know what that word is. And I had to really show him, I mean fall, as in to trip, to tumble. And then my mentor is there laughing because she knows what I mean. Yeah. But he didn't understand. So she's just said, fall, in a normal British accent. He said, oh, fall. And I said, there is no difference. But you really learn to adapt to everybody and be able to relate to them.
And when you go to, I've seen clinics for, say, physical therapists. At the clinic for occupational therapists, do you have like equipment and so forth also?
Yeah, I do have equipment, not as much as a physical therapy clinic because they really deal with the whole body. I just need for the upper limb. So really all I need is a table and items for your arms. Oh, okay. I do have a bed as well, so if we do any relaxation therapy or exercises, then we can lie down and do some upper limb exercises as well. So it's not as big as a physical therapy clinic.
So now that you're back home, what is it really like? I've spoken to a lot of young professionals returning back home, even in the medical field, etc. And you're connected in the medical field in a way because the occupational therapist here. And what was it like? Because, for example, we see a lot of people now on this island, and they're relatively young people that have strokes and they can't use left arm or and those. Do you see those kind of people?
Oh yes, I actually see more of the younger, so 30 to maybe 50 generation than the older ones getting strokes. These heart attacks, strokes. So it's an alarming rate that I'm seeing them, that I'm hearing about them as well. So that's very alarming.
And is it easier to work with a person that's relatively young, in their 30s, 40s, that had a stroke compared to someone in their 50s?
Well, actually, I'm honestly going to say it's half and half because
Okay.
you have those that are young that have had their stroke or their heart attack and they're like, let's go, let's go. I have the youth on my side. I can go and I can exercise. I'm going to step up and step up and step up the exercises and get back to where I am. But then you have those that have been hit with this trauma at their age and they're just so emotionally disconnected that I can't believe this happened to me. And they're stuck sort of in that area where I have to also help them to get out of it as well before we can even begin the physical exercises.
And that makes it a little bit
That is,
difficult.
yeah, yeah.
We're here speaking with her about her work. And as you said earlier that your clinic is in Cold Bay.
Yes.
And do you get referrals from general practitioners?
Yes, I do. All doctors, all specialists refer to me, and I'm covered with SZV.
Oh, okay.
All the therapy and even home adaptations are covered with SZV.
So as a patient doesn't have
Any
problem
problems
coming
at
to
all?
see you.
No, not at all.
And then you mentioned home. Do you visit home sometimes?
Yes, I visit schools, works, and homes. And in the home itself, we can adapt the bathroom. So grab bars, making the doors wider, add ramps, everything to make accessibility more, increase accessibility.
And so how has that been in terms of when a person need to, say, remodel
Yes.
their bathroom just to function, to bring you in also to work with them on that?
Well, you can call me because besides SZV and the referrals from the doctors, you can also come in and have a private referral. So you can self-refer. Come
Okay.
in and then you can tell me what the issue is and I can go and I can do the home visit and see from your front door to your back door what you would need to improve your home.
And are there specialized companies on the island that you work with that will come in and then make all those modifications in the home, or just,
Well, at this moment, I work with SZV,
Yeah.
and through SZV, they have their own contractors that they hire.
Oh, okay.
At this moment, yes, that's how it's been at this point in time. If anybody is doing it privately, they tend to know contractors. So I don't really work with contractors as yet, but that's how it's been so far.
Because I think a lot of the appliances are used, you just can't walk into a regular hardware store and pick them up, right?
No, yes, no. It has to be because they are available in different hardware stores, but for example, not every grab bar is meant for you. I might say, yes, you need a certain grab bar, but you might need a certain surface on the grab bar. It might need to be rubber instead of metal, for example. It might be too cold for your arthritis. It might need more grip instead of the sleek, smooth ones that they might have available here on the island.
Yeah.
So it's always better to get a second opinion from, for example, me to come in and look and see, this is the type of grab bar that you will need or that your mom or your grandmother will need because it'll help her to get out more and get up from the toilet, from the shower, for example, better. Removing thresholds, all of that we do as well.
So who's your easiest patient, male or female?
Yeah. That is a good question. Well, I would say that the males are very motivated in the exercising. They want to up and up and up, but at the same time, that's also a curse because they're going too fast. So it's like, oh, let's carry it to 100 right away. They want to get better and they want to get better now. Whereas the females are more patient and understanding. So I like the motivation of the males, but I like the understanding and the patience of the females. So it is a balance. It is a fair balance.
Yeah. And when it comes to children now, it's more like the male. Children are really easy, right?
Children are quite easy because the main occupation for kids is play. That's it. Play is development, complete development for the kids. And that's what I do with them. I play. When they come in, we play. So they have fun and we have our work time, but we also have our play time, and all of them know this, and they choose what they want to do.
Explain that, because someone watching this program will say, well, what does she mean?
By play.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as I said, it's play. When you're younger, that's what you did. You go out to the playground, you're out with your friends,
Right.
you're playing. As you grow and you develop, you need certain skills to be able to function, and that could just be the basics of walking. You have the bigger, grosser skills that you learn through running and tumbling and jumping. You get your balance, your coordination, all of that from that. And then you start to pick up different tools and puzzles and blocks, and you start to work on that. That really fines things down to the finer, smaller motor skills of your hand. So I can hold the pen better now. I can hold the pencil better because I've been working and playing with the clay, with the mud, for example, or climbing the monkey bars. And through all of that, you're working your brain to process different skills, doing puzzles, interacting. And through all of that, you have your social skills developing. I'm playing tag with my friends, I'm running with my friends, we're playing together. So it's really your physical, your cognitive, your psychological, your social, all of that started from just playing.
So that's basically with young children that have difficulty with, say, using the arms and so forth?
Yes, for example, and this is one campaign that we did this year.
Okay.
We introduced the less screen, more play, because a lot of kids are on their screens. And because they continuously swipe and swipe and swipe, their fingers aren't getting the amount of development and strength that is required for their age. So by the time they're 5 or 6, they might not be able to hold a pen properly because they're on the iPads or the phones, for example, because they're just
Right.
pointing, and not actually holding a pen to write anymore. So their muscles are weaker. And we just spend time coloring. Coloring is significantly better than swiping on an iPad.
I'm
Yeah.
glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said that is because I was telling someone the other day that the late Steve Jobs did not allow his children to use the iPad.
Oh, okay.
And because of the problems, some of the problems you mentioned, there,
Yeah.
but also it limits you in terms of your writing skills,
Yes.
ability to write, handwriting, etc. And it's the same like myself. When I was younger, my children was younger, I never allowed them to watch television all the time because it really doesn't help you,
Yeah.
the development of a child. So I'm glad to see that you're mentioning that with the iPad because people don't realize
Yeah.
that it's
It's-
not too good for
Yeah,
young children.
it's detrimental. And the thing is, they say, oh, well, let's see what it does in 5 years. No, it is detrimental immediately. We immediately see the evidence from what it's causing. Not just the physical part of the hands being weaker, but they're less social. They're on this screen all day, and they're talking to their friends via the screen and not actually talking to their friends. So my campaign is really geared to the age of 12 and under. Let's get them back outside playing with the ball and riding bike and skipping ropes. Let's have them writing with chalk on the walls or on the ground. You know, let's get them back to what we did
Yeah.
because that's how you develop.
And it doesn't mean that they can't do it, just that
No.
they have to limit the
Just
time.
less. That's just
Right.
it. Not no screen, just
Yeah.
less screen. Yeah. Yeah.
And also, it's also affecting the eyes of young children.
Some of them, yeah. Some of them sit too close. Some of them spend so long a time on it, just straining the eyes and the bright lights. So yeah, it affects the whole person.
Well, you got your work cut out for you.
Yes. Yes.
You still relatively young, so you got a long way to go.
I have, yes, yes.
And how has been the response from your parents and your friends since you came back? And
Well, everybody's happy to have me back here because everybody's home. So it's good to be back. It's good to be back as well because the support is there and everybody's been very supportive. So that's really good.
And another thing is that when you look at this island, it's amazing because we've grown so much. And we have every problem of the world now. Every developed or developing country problem, we have it here.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's small, but like you said, there's so much going on, to the point where my mentors in England, I'm still talking to them and still getting advice from them, and I'm saying, oh, I have a case like this, I have a case like that, and they've never seen or heard cases like this that's really so specialist or so exclusive to St. Martin or maybe the Caribbean, and they're in London where they have
Millions.
huge general hospitals and they still don't see it. But I'm getting these very specialist cases that St. Martin has.
Which is so strange in a way because, growing up as a young boy here on this island, we never heard, there were very rare cases of, for example, cancer. And now there's so many young
Now it
people.
is, yeah.
And then strokes, like you mentioned earlier, a lot of people, younger
And
people.
yeah, exactly. That's something wasn't heard of before when I was younger.
Right.
And it's now the norm, sort of becoming the norm.
Yeah. Do you get people still asking you what you do?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every day, all day. What is it? What is it? What is it? People just come into the clinic and ask, what is it?
Uh-huh.
And I spend a good chunk of my day just explaining what it is. But that's fine because that's a part of it. So I always have patience to explain what it is.
And sometimes, for example, someone watching this program, if a guy is working in construction, had a problem with his arm, and can't use it well, a person like you come into
Yes,
play, right?
I definitely come into play because that's what I do. I deal with the hands. How, for example, you can go to your doctor and all the GPs know, all the general practitioners know about me. Just tell them, you lead occupational therapy, the Antoinette Sorton or Enable, and they'll know what you're talking about. And then they will they'll give you a referral letter, and then you bring that referral letter to my clinic. And then I will send it to SFV.
Yeah.
For you, and then it's either that way or you just come in and you become a private client and we go from there.
And the clinic you said is in Cold Bay.
It's in Cold
Give
Bay
us the directions
in
again,
the
please.
Orange Grove Shopping Center. So it's right next to Harley Davidson between the Chinese Bakery and Home Essentials. So it's on the
Okay.
same area of the WIB.
And you're open Monday through Friday?
Monday through Saturday.
Oh, Saturday too?
Monday,
That's good.
yes, yeah. Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, and then on Saturday from 9 to 3. And if you do want to reach me, my number is 587-7980. So you can always get me through that. And the website is www.enable, so that's ENABLE, And then all the information is on there as well.
And they can also send you an email through the website.
You can directly contact me as well through the website.
Yeah, that's really good. It's good to see that we having more of our young people getting into this kind of field of work because I think if it's safe to say, you're the first one that I know.
Oh, wow. Well,
Are there any other on the island that are right now?
well, they have them that fly in and out, but I am the only one with an occupational therapy clinic
Oh,
on
okay.
the island.
And so, take for example the Simran Medical Center. They ever call and say, we need.
Well, I've contacted them.
Oh,
I've
okay.
contacted all the major medical centers,
Yeah.
and it's up to them really to get back to me. But I've reached out, I've introduced myself to everybody, and I'm just waiting.
So they're aware of you.
They are aware. Everybody, Mental Health Foundation, everybody's aware.
And if they're not aware of you, they're aware of you now.
Exactly. Yes.
That's nice. So now, what you do in your spare time? What you like to do?
I love to dance, so that's good. I have an 8-month-old, so she takes up most of my
You're
time.
busy now. For sure.
Yes, yes.
No, when they're that small, they're nice. I like them when they're that.
Yeah.
After 2 years,
No.
yeah. So at least you're busy and you're working. That's good.
Yeah.
And again, private patients can come and see
Private,
you.
sure, can walk right in, as well as SZV clients, all SZV clients.
All right. Anything else you want me to know, or the audience to know that I didn't ask you about?
No, I think you covered everything pretty much good, yeah.
All right. So again, I want to thank you for coming in and being my guest this evening on Speaking of Everything. Really appreciate it because, as I said, we're here to encourage young people, and I'm glad that you came back to the island and you didn't stay abroad.
No, yeah, but thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And continue doing the good work. All
Thank
right?
you.
And we hope to have you back sometime in the future again. All right?
Perfect.
Okay, that's the Antoinette Sorton, occupational therapist here in St. Martin. I'll see you next week at the same time, right here on Speaking of Everything. Until then, good night, goodbye.